hoisted it up, and heaved it on top of the fire. The beech wood was dry and crippled, crumbling right away and creating a big lump of smoke. We collapsed into the sand and we wiped away our tears from continuing to laugh so hard. By then, I was really feeling the side effects of all the alcohol. You brought water, right? I asked him. Yeah, hang on. He slowly got up and went back over to the Yeti. He brought over 2 ice-cold water bottles over to me and pulled me up. We stood there for a moment, enjoying such needed hydration while feeling the cool night air and listening to the rolls and crashes of the waves. When's your partner getting here? We're not going to say we hooked up, right? I asked. He shrugged it off. It wouldn't matter. My partner has many partners. It was an odd response. I stood there quietly, trying to think through what it meant. Neither of us said anything for the next few minutes. I got a little awkward. We finished our water bottles and started 2 more. Then I heard something above us, a sound I could not identify, what I could only describe as a disturbance in the air. When I looked up, I could no longer see the stars. There was a ball of fire dropping out of the black sky, not directly above us, but about 200 yards to the south. It looked like a burning wreck of a small falling aircraft. What is that? I asked. Kilday looked on the reverse. My partner, Betos. The alcohol might have had something to do with it. Or maybe not, but I could feel my stomach rising up past my chest into my throat, my insides turning hot, and my skin ice cold. The ball of fire was falling. I looked around us. There was another bonfire going on now, north of us, past the next lifeguard tower. Can they see this? I asked, referring to the people over at the other fire pit. What do you think? Said Kilday. I feared they couldn't. I gauged my distance from the other bonfire. I never been able to reach it. The fireball slowed as it neared the ground. A breeze picked up, and, as if on cue, a large black feather landed on my shoulder. The tip of it was signed, glowing with an ember of a fire. Then more feathers fell, drifting on the wind until a dozen of them littered the area around us. I watched as a great pair of wings unfolded and spread from within the fireball. The thing within it hit the ground and kicked up a cloud of sand, putting out the raging flames. The beach to the south went dark momentarily. This may have sounded hard to believe, but I don't know if I was really in danger or not. It wasn't obvious that I could flee. While I have no doubt what I was witnessing was real, Kilday had not done anything to put me in danger. The only tangible threat or danger seemed to be what happened to the Wiskotskis, the dead seagull in 3135. Did you put it there? I asked. Yes, Kilday answered. Was that for your partner too? No, Opry, he said with kind eyes. That was for you. I don't understand. You're right about people. They are terrible. Adults are all still children. The Pentagon, the bird, the blood. That was just for show. I had to get rid of those people because they made you miserable. Betos was closer now, close enough that I could see it clearly in the emanating light from the moon and streetlights. All the features of the eerie, tall figure I'd seen around the resort came together. It had raw muscle tissue with no skin, and now I noticed burning marks covering its body. Its arms and legs were long, its hands and feet massive. It was even 7 feet tall, and there its neck met the base of its head. The raw tissue stopped. The head was a large yellowish skull. It looked almost human inside. From the long two horns sprouting from the inside that nearly came together on the top, forming a circle wider than the skull itself. Disturbingly human-like eyes floating in canvases, sockets, attached to nothing. Its unmoving lower jaw hung wide open, large wings full of thick, black, feathered remains folded on its back. I creased, being able to control my breathing as it got closer. My lungs felt too large for my chest. Then, in a blink of an eye, Betos vanished. Is it gone? I asked Kode. It was never really gone, he answered. Sure enough, I could feel a giant Valos in the sand where its feet landed. It was still coming closer. I faced Kilday. So what then? Are you possessed by it or something? He seemed to find the idea hilarious. What? No way. I said we're partners, remember? Then what do you want with me? He put his hands over my shoulder. It's not up to me. He turned me around. I looked at the sand at my feet. I could tell Betos was right in front of me, though I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. The demon's sulphurous, hot breath washed over my face. I gasped and seized up when I felt its wide palm and long fingers touch my side. Kilday spoke into my ear from behind. I had nothing, and I was going nowhere when Betos chose me 10 years ago. I met a woman who introduced me to Betos, just like I'm doing for you now. She was rich, sexy, funny, everything I ever wanted and wanted to be. I felt Betos reaching down my leg with one hand and up my torso with the other. My muscles spasmed and cramped. I desperately wanted to move, but my body couldn't. Kilday circled around me and continued. All Betos needed from me was my soul as contribute. I've been nothing without it for a decade. I don't feel any different. My hair floated above as I felt Betos cup my face and stretch my scalp. I followed Kilday with my eyes as he went on. Think about it. We could have whatever jobs we want, live however we want, make as much money as we want, eat as much as we want, drink whatever we want, smoke whatever we want, fuck whoever we want. It's gonna be rad. Betos held me still. I managed to move my lips though. But what happens to us after, when we die? Kilday smirked and shook his head. Who cares? We'll live longer than we ever have. We'll make it to our hundreds if we want, but it's all up to if Barbotos wants you. I felt the demon's hands gradually slip away from my body. I could move and breathe normally again. Kilday took a few steps back and lifted his head upwards. I couldn't hear him, but I could see his mouth moving. It was clear he and still invisible Bartos were talking. It went on for a good minute. Kilday glanced over at me once, then 2 more times. His body language changed, like he was arguing with a parent. I had the distant sense that it wasn't going well. Then Kilday wiped his mouth and came to me. So, it's not gonna work out. I didn't understand. Wait, what? Don't be upset. Bartos doesn't pick everybody. I wasn't upset at all, but I was so confused. I have just stood there. Well, good. Kodai looked down, let out a sigh, then slowly lifted his eyes. Not quite. What do you mean, not quite? Bartos doesn't think we can corrupt you. It's hard to explain, but the gist of it, you've lost all regret and faith in humanity already. You've corrupted yourself. All on your own. And, maybe if you didn't realize that about yourself and didn't know you were a bad person, then maybe we could have had something to work with, but I'm not a bad person. He put his hands on his hips. You're reacting emotionally. Can you look at me in the eye and say it again and mean it?